I know that many people came here for Bitcoin. You might be thinking, oh, I've heard a lot of stories about people getting super rich from Bitcoin, but for Lego investment, on the other hand, isn't as sexy as Bitcoin. However, I will explain why I sold most of my Bitcoin and get my capital on hand. This move prepares me for Lego investment. The biggest reason I'm doing this is because I'm really not an expert for Bitcoin, and I think a lot of the people buying Bitcoin is not really an expert. So you came here for a Bitcoin advice. I really not the person you might looking for. But on the other hand, I have been part of investing, reselling, and doing the retail related business for almost 10 years. This means that while I'm not claiming to be an expert, I'm more confident in investing my capital in Lego sets. So what I'm saying is that these subjects varies greatly from person to person and situation to situation. And I also want to mention a couple of the facts based on my own experience. First, I have an e-commerce degree from my college. So for my major of e-commerce, none of us know why we choose this major or how it could be useful at that time. Even the school didn't know what to teach us. They just gave us a mix of computer science coding lessons, math lessons, including the most difficult ones, and the finance courses. It's like they took whatever they thought was good for business, computer science, and finance, bundled all together as a package and handed it to us. But anyway, even I'm not a good student at that time, but I was still think I had the advantage of doing this kind of business for my background in my college. Additionally, it's not always about the major we studied. It's also about where our interest is. So you either systematically learn things from school or became an expert through your personal interest in something. For me, one of my biggest interests is watching movies and TV shows since 20 years ago. Yes, of course, I would say it's an interest for most of people. But if you ask 1,000 people, how many of them have watched the Friends TV show over 3 times? Maybe you will find 10 or even 20 of them here in the USA. But let me change the question. How many people have watched 12 Angry Men more than 5 times? Not only have I watched 12 Angry Men more than 5 times, but I've also watched Casablanca and Ben-Hur over 5 times. And that is how deeply I'm interested in movies. So if you combine my college degree with my personal interest, you can see that I've already spent a lot of my time on things that might slightly related to Lego investment. This gives me a little advantage in Lego investment compared to Bitcoin, because I know some people may have had an interest in finance for a long time, or they may have majored in finance in college. Their backgrounds might be better suited for Bitcoin investment, but that's not for me. So I know myself better. I'm not well suited for Bitcoin investing. So that is the first reason I put in most of my capital into Lego investment in this Q4. Let's look at a quick example. I have more than 20 sets of the friend's apartment. By the end of last year, I noticed that not many people were discussing these sets for Lego investment. I also had more than 20 sets of the Batman art series, which even fewer people were discussing. I'm quite confident about both of these Lego sets because I'm deeply knowledgeable about these two topics. I know the price at which I'd want to purchase as a buyer and how many sets I should get in order to sell them all within 1 or 2 years. So in conclusion, this is the first reason why I believe I will be better at Lego investing compared to Bitcoin. And the second reason is related to my capital spending strategy, which I've shared in my previous video. If you are interested, you can check the link here and I will put the link in the description section. Every year from October to December is my busy season for Lego investment. During this time, I need a big amount of capital to spend in this business. This means I'm getting my capital from all kinds of sources because Q4 is the main season for Lego investment. On the other hand, if it's not yet the time for me to invest in Lego, I might not want to sell most of my Bitcoin already. My major concern here is that my capital could easily get tied up in Bitcoin for 1 to 3 months or even 6 months or a year. That is a scenario I cannot accept. I'd rather withdraw it before October to ensure it's available when I need it. And here is my last point. As I mentioned in my capital spending strategy video, I plan to spend around 20% of my capital in October and maybe 30% each in November and December. This means I still have time. I don't need to withdraw all my capital at once. However, I'm doing this very early because I'm a person who really don't like the feeling of being stressful. As I mentioned in my previous video, having capital on hand buys me more time, and with more time, my investment can continue to grow. Additionally, have more capital available reduce stress, which will also allow me to make better decisions and stick to my plan. So I'm less likely to make a wrong decision because of stress. That is why I sold most of my Bitcoin before October. Okay, these are all the reasons why I transferring my capital from Bitcoin to Lego investment in this Q4. In the end, I want to share my 2 cents as a Bitcoin newbie. The first thing I want to mention is that even if I had no other investment opportunities for my capital, I will still sell a big part of Bitcoin before October. This is because I believe there's currently too much uncertainty in the market and the risk is relatively high for the next couple of months. So I'd rather keep more cash on hand to see what's going to happen in the next couple of months. We have an upcoming election, and also the Federal Reserve is expected to reduce interest rate in November and December, continuing into next year. However, there's uncertainty about the speed and the amount of those rate changes. Besides, there are also other things happening that make the financial market quite unstable. I'm not sure how to play out, but at least for the next couple of months, uncertainty remains very high. And let's back to Bitcoin itself. I think for the price to increase significantly for normal people could make money of it, is that either people will have extra money on hand to invest, or there's big news that leads people to believe the price of Bitcoin will skyrocket. However, as an average person myself, I don't have much extra capital to invest right now, and also I haven't seen any significant news or trends that motivate me to put my cash into Bitcoin. I know this might seem boring and unrelated to Pacific Lego set of investment, but here is my final point. I won't regret moving money from Bitcoin even if the price go up in short term. And please don't get me wrong, I might still put some of my money back into Bitcoin if anything significant happens, or if I see good news or trends for it. But for now, that's my safe move before October. And for the investment in Bitcoin, I'd say it's just a short-term project for me, maybe a year or a year and a half, but nothing more than that. My biggest concerns are my Lego investment and my YouTube channel. I consider these two as my long-term business or part of my career, and that will benefit me in the long run. Not only will this business grow over time, but I will also continue to grow personally. So for the money I missed or the profit missed is not really my money in the first place, and I'm not really worried about that. And to say that in a funny way is, if I'm getting a big profit from the investment I shouldn't be, or something out of my knowledge, that may give me a little worry, because I need to remind myself that do not be distracted by those things from my main focus. Alright, that's it my friend. Hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. That will really help me and this channel. See you in the next one.
Neither had the storekeeper who sold it to the boy. Aren't you asking us to accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm just saying a coincidence is possible.
And I say it's not possible.
Where did that come from?